I'm Kristen Burt for LifeScript.com. Serene Branson is a Los Angeles reporter who experienced a migraine episode live on the air in 2011. It was so dramatic, viewers thought she was having a stroke. Learn more about her story and how she's doing today.
Serene, you had a very interesting story with migraines. I actually remember it when it happened. I was living here in Los Angeles. So kind of give us the highlights of what happened with you while you were on air.
A lot of people know back in 2011, I was covering the Grammy Awards. I went to go live at the top of the 11 o'clock news. The words didn't come out of my mouth right.
Well, a very, very heavy debatation tonight. We had a very Darrison.
I knew something was terribly wrong. I knew the thoughts that I had in my head, but I knew my speech was not making sense. They cut away from me. My producer and photographers swarmed me. I was terrified. I was scared. I was very embarrassed. I knew what had just happened. And I also did experience some numbness on the side of my face and my hand, and I was very scared. I was examined by a paramedic team, and they checked my vitals and didn't send me to the ER, but I did follow up with a neurologist, and they determined that I had had a migraine.
Now that seems to me, because I'm a migraine sufferer myself, that seems to be an extreme example of what happens with the migraine, because I didn't know that you could actually lose your speech.
I didn't know that either. And what I found out, like any good journalist, I dove into learning all about migraine. And I learned that a lot of migraines, especially the ones with aura, which is what they call what I had, experienced the blurry vision and the speech impairment, can mimic a stroke. So the symptoms actually can mimic a stroke. And what goes on in your brain can have those symptoms like speech impairment that mimic a stroke.
That is unbelievable. Was that the first migraine you had ever had, or at that level at least?
At that level, definitely. I look back and I think about times in my 20s where I thought I had a really bad headache, and looking back, hindsight is 20/20, they were probably migraines. I just thought they were really bad headaches. But that was the worst migraine I'd ever had.
And what is if people ask for tips, what do you recommend to them?
Really just taking stock of your overall health. So yes, a doctor can prescribe a medicine for you, but for me, I say, what worked for me is really just taking a holistic approach to my health and really taking stock of what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, how I'm sleeping. And that's my best advice, just really taking stock of how you're living your life and trying to de-stress it as much as possible.
That is great advice. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kristen.